Hello, I look really pale today.
Me too.
This is the first podcast in a very long time that I'm going into with less than a full drink inside of me, which is sort of about starting the new year off in a healthy way.
Yeah.
I've only got one drink for this podcast, too.
I've got water.
I've got a liter of water. I'm 2 liters deep, baby.
We're taking a little break after the Mike Romies.
I figured that maybe some of my health problems might be related to all of the quarantine drinking I've been doing.
Maybe.
I'm doing...
Oh. No, go ahead.
I was just going to say that I'm doing this thing now where I'm only allowed to have drinks after 2 liters of water, for starters, and after I've had dinner.
Okay.
Like a dessert.
Look at you.
And maybe less beer.
Less what?
That might be a good start. Beer.
Okay. Yeah, that's
We're
a
getting
good start.
back on the gin train.
Oh boy. All right.
I topped off the first drink I made, and now I'm just like...
Before we start, I just want to give a thank you to Chidonga and Baby Giraffe for following prior to the stream. They followed today.
You know what's funny?
Huh.
This is totally random. My sister, because we both used to have Tumblrs, her Tumblr used to be Baby Giraffe.
I think that is her because she also followed the YouTube channel. She followed this, and I think she followed my stream as well. Yeah. She followed this, my stream, and the podcast YouTube.
It makes sense because she was just telling me about Games Done Quick that's on Twitch today.
Uh-huh.
So she definitely had a fucking stroke of inspiration. Oh my god. Oh no. Well, she can't possibly watch all of them. Right? She's not that much time.
Well,
let's fucking cross our fingers.
We'll see.
I love my supportive older sister.
And I love Liz's supportive older sister.
Support us harder, Catherine. Subscribe. Never mind. Catherine's given us so much lovely endowments over the course of our time. I also accidentally put the eye makeup on my lower lids a little too dark. So that's probably why I look like fucking Snow White over here today. Happy Goldberg return.
Yeah.
The audacity.
You know, maybe Goldberg's sticking around. Wasn't that funny?
Yeah. That was funny. You're a funny dude. I'll give you that much. Right. You should check out my I don't know if you saw it, my personal tweet for us going live is kind of funny. I thought it was funny because I made it. So.
Oh really? Was it the one with Mark Ruffalo?
No. It was just a Goldberg ranting.
Yeah, you've made a lot of those.
When I have 2 accounts that I can spread it across, it's really helpful.
Oh, that's so funny. Oh.
And it works, because literally Drew was trying to have a conversation, so. Chef's kiss. All right. We've had our fun. We got a lot of news, so.
Oh boy.
Shall we dig in?
Yeah.
We'll dig in with like a grapefruit spoon. Those can do a hell of a lot of digging. News. Hello. Welcome to the news. All right, let's start with something nice. If I can find it. Story of my fucking life. So David Speed, a British artist, did this really fucking fantastic mural, which is on my Twitter, but let me bring
I saw that.
It's so nice. It's so pretty. I just thought that was something that we could quickly mention.
Yeah.
There's at least 3 posts on my Twitter about it, I think. Or 1 on mine, and I think 3 on like the podcast Twitter. So definitely check that out. It's fucking gorgeous.
I have
Okay.
I have a little piece of news too.
Okay.
Going to try and fit that in there at some point.
You just tell me when you want it on there.
I'll do it after this one.
Oh, okay. I don't know what this one's gonna be though. What is your news have to do with
Ring of Honor.
Promotion wise? Ring of Honor? Can I guess?
Yeah.
Marty Scurll has left Ring of Honor. Yeah.
Or rather, they've parted ways.
Yes, they've parted ways, as they put it, which I said, that sounds considerably worse, but cool. Why didn't you guys do that in the first place when everything came out about him? Beyond me, but who's to make comments? Who's to make jokes?
You.
I'm just tired. The fact that I still had to see Marty Scurll's fucking name for months after everything came out about him, and I was like, are we gonna do something? No. I mean, I can't speak. We watch WWE and we still have Matt Riddle, so.
I think he's definitely not the worst we could mention. We're watching
that has been proven.
Velveteen Dream.
I'm not. Oh yeah, okay. If we want to mention everyone that's horrible, I can unfurl the list for you. But isn't Jordan Devlin the other one that's in NXT UK that's kind of a piece of trash?
Yeah, domestic abuse. Allegedly.
What did Marty Scurll do?
I don't know. I read the article and don't know what he did exactly.
I get him, Jordan Devlin, and Sammy Guevara mixed up on a somewhat regular basis.
Well, Sammy Guevara just said some nasty things about Sasha Banks.
She then apologized for, and she accepted his apology, and therefore it's all fine.
I think it was a little more than that. I think they had like a full-on conversation about it.
Right. Yeah, you know what? That's more than we can say for a lot of the other people, so I'll give it to them.
Yeah. What did Marty Scurll do? Seen a lot of articles talking about the split.
The split?
Oh, he had a relationship with Deonna Purrazzo.
I kind of knew that.
So what happened, allegedly, as part of the Speaking Out movement, Scurll was accused by a woman of sexually abusing her 5 years prior when she was 16 years old and intoxicated. Scurll admitted the incident took place, but insisted it was consensual.
No! But she was...
If she's intoxicated, then yeah.
16!
16,
well, no,
intoxicated.
I think that the first bar that we can pass is 16.
Yeah. Both are bad.
I mean, like... Yeah. Intoxicated sex, you have to, like... really, 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 really fucking know the person. For there to not be any gray area whatsoever.
I think that's
God bless.
That's a double whammy right there.
Dude, like... It's like, you know, I know that the consensual sex when drunk thing was only just recently like discussed by a lot of people. Like, if they're drunk, they can't say yes.
Mm-hmm.
But the age of consent thing,
that doesn't change. Well, I mean, it does, but
where's the little fucker from?
I have no clue. Actually, I have his Wikipedia open right now, so I can tell you. He's billed from Cambridge.
Oh, he's from the UK.
Yeah.
Well, in theory, I guess the age of consent is 16, but, you know, we all know why the age of consent laws were made. So, check out Call Me By Your Name. Or at least the discourse on it. Anywho. before I puke up my first cocktail of the day, shall we, when I dated a guy who was older than me, he was freaked out because he's like, the whole thing is that, like, you're supposed to, like, take your age, divide it in half, and then add 5 years or something.
So if you're 20, you can date a 15-year-old?
No. I don't know how it worked.
Should be add like 8 years.
Well, no, so this was in, like, high school. It was not a smart decision, by the way, by any means.
Mm-hmm.
We made stupid choices in our childhood. But he told me this rule that he had heard where it's like you take your age and, like, divide it by something and then add something. And I was like, yeah. Or, I mean, you could just not be attracted to children.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like, I see people who are, like, a year younger than me, and immediately my brain knows. I'm just like, that's a baby.
Yeah.
Mark is the youngest person I've ever dated. By 4 months.
And you're the middlest person I've ever dated. By a year both ways.
Ew.
Yeah.
Average.
First person I've dated that's actually my own age.
Oh, look at you. Who was older than you?
I mean, I'd prefer not to name names on the podcast.
The awful one or the not awful one?
The awful one.
Okay. Vibes. Mark and I are in speaking code now. Anyways, so, oh God, where'd we go? Quick news for this part. Mickie James has been removed from the active Raw roster. And everyone's like, oh, how is she a legend? Like, she was just wrestling. And I was like, well, yeah, I mean, Big Show was just in a wrestling match too. So,
yeah,
you can still be a legend and be wrestling. Like, I would go to say Randy's a legend.
Yeah.
He just happens to also be actively wrestling, so he was there tonight. Anyways.
Goldberg's a legend.
Oh, one of my pieces of news I can leave out because it was mentioned later. It's just about Royal Rumble. So Sonya Deville's stalking case is actually not over. For as much as I was saying about, like, oh, well, I guess that means that that chapter of her life is closed. It's not. But luckily she's allowed to do fun things in the meantime.
She's allowed to work.
Take your mind off shit. Apparently depositions are beginning on February 13th, and she has to do a Zoom deposition.
Zoom deposition?
Like, you have to Zoom into court. Yeah.
Okay.
It was a weird bitch.
All right.
Starting on February 13th, and it was just, it was interesting because, as one might expect, Sonya has a, one of those, like, I guess it's a restraining order, like, security protection thing. And it's called, like, a temporary security whatever. And it's indefinite. I was like, I don't think that's temporary. But God bless. I'm happy, at the very least, that she gets to distract herself now. It's modicum of good stuff. AEW is leaving Daly's place next month. I don't know where the fuck they're going. I don't know if they've talked about where the fuck they're going.
You said next month?
Yes.
Okay.
As far as I know. I'm trying to find the news about it. Okay.
Yeah.
They're going to start touring again.
Oh, that's... Oh, man. They have big hopes of that vaccine. Oh, boy.
Well, okay. Wait, when was this published? Okay, so 2 weeks ago, it was published on Cage Side, or Ringside, sorry. that AEW has plans to leave Daly's Place, but there's no time frame. And that they wanted to wait things out at Daly's Place until things were safe again to tour. Now, Ringside reported a day ago, 14 hours, mind you, they're going to tape a month's worth of Dynamite, including their Beach Break special and AEW Revolution. And they're going to Miami for a month.
Oh, they're all getting COVID. I mean, well, actually, they're already all in Florida, so.
Apparently, one of the factors in like their decision was because Daly's Place is too fucking cold. Like, apparently the building gets super fucking cold.
That does explain, like, the space heaters they have everywhere.
Yeah. That's weird, though. You would think that, like, because I don't know, I've exercised in the cold before, and, like, you work up a sweat.
Yeah.
One way or the other. And, like, you kind of stop noticing that it's fucking cold. But that's weird. I feel like that's such a niche thing for, like, there to be a problem with a venue.
Yeah.
Apparently it's sub-freezing weather in and outside of the venue.
Oh, wow.
Is this not in Florida? Is Daly's Place not in Florida?
It is. It is in Florida.
Where in Florida is it sub-freezing? I got questions, AEW. It seems like their current plan is to return to Daly's Place in March, but they're going to take a break in Jacksonville.
I mean, Daly's Place is located in Jacksonville.
Well, break away from Jacksonville. Sorry, they are going to Miami. I said that earlier.
Okay.
I like when my brain and my mouth catch up to each other. So I guess like Daly's Place is always going to be like their like go-to, but in the meantime, they're taking a break. But just imagine like hearing Tony Khan being like, "Yeah, guys, I know it's fucking freezing in here. We're leaving for a month, and then we'll be back and freezing again." And let's see, we have two last pieces of news here. The first thing is that Zach Gibson, to this day, still feels fucking weird talking about the wrestler named that. Zach Gibson has made a board game, a wrestling board game. I believe he said that it has something to do with WWE. I'm going to look up the tweet right now. He's got like a prototype and everything. And when I saw that, I was like, wait, fuck. I like kind of want to play that.
I'm looking it up right now.
I can't remember if he must be ZACK. Yes.
Yeah. Wrestling.
Yeah, he said a few months ago I asked who'd be interested in a Be the Booker style wrestling board game. I now have a working prototype and 90% of the design work complete. Who's still interested? I want that so badly.
Apparently there is a pro wrestling board game called Bucket.
But it's not made by Zach Gibson.
Right, it's not. But I would be so down to buy that. That sounds so cool. And if we want to get
I've been spending my money.
We want to get Bucket in the meantime.
Oh yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
Maybe we could do a little content. Make some content.
No.
Or just play it for fun like normal people do.
Yeah.
Final piece of news. Just gonna on that one. Heath Slater.
Oh God.
Heath Slater. Good down home boy.
Is that what you want to call him?
Heath Slater has decided that he does not believe in COVID. Or rather, let me clarify that. Heath Slater has decided to admit that he does not believe that COVID is as big of a fucking deal as it is. Because I guess the number of deaths this past year were the same as 2019 without COVID. Which I have to say, I cannot believe that statistic at all.
Mm-hmm.
Just as some, maybe I'm a fucking mark for politics, right? Who knows? But I sometimes like to believe the statistics that the CDC give me when they say the sky is falling, and I would say, well, would rather stay inside and not have the sky fall on me. But Heath Slater said no.
Yeah.
And so I guess according to him, we're all good. Just go outside. Don't wear a fucking mask. To be fair, he is friends with Gibson and fucking God, with Gallows and Anderson. So, Did I expect as much from him? No. Do I expect as much from anybody in the wrestling circuits?
No. Also, I have one more piece of news, and it's actually it's a little interesting.
Here we go.
So,
we're gonna be here for an hour.
Dark Side of the Ring tweeted some hints at another episode. One being an episode on Nick Gage, who I don't know if you know him, but he's from Combat Zone Wrestling and Game Changer Wrestling, and he was one of the big three of deathmatch tournaments. But what the episode would probably be about is the fact that he robbed a bank.
I did know about that. He
robbed a PNC bank in Collingswood, New Jersey on December 22nd in 2010. I'm just going to read the whole thing because it's not that long. During the robbery, Wilson handed a note to a female employee at the bank demanding money and got approximately $3,000. Following the robbery, Wilson and his girlfriend went to Atlantic City to gamble. Wilson surrendered to authorities on December 31st, 2010. On March 15th, 2011, Wilson pleaded guilty to second-degree robbery and on April 29th was sentenced to 5 years in prison. So nothing like murdering a man in the ring like New Jack.
I still have like horror flashbacks to New Jack.
Yeah.
Like when we were watching that and the repeat came on later that night, I like tried to force myself to go to sleep because I was like, I can't watch this again. I just can't. Like, well, all right. I hate saying it like this, but like I'm kind of excited to see the new season of Dark Side of the Ring.
I mean, all that stuff already happened, so it's not like you're being excited for the things to happen.
Yeah, but like you don't want to take that much joy in watching people just knowingly ruin their fucking lives.
But you're educating yourself on the histories of professional wrestling.
I guess it's fair. Okay, I'll take it. I'll use that as my excuse from now on. Well, would you like to get into this? How shall we call it? Experience?
Oh, I guess so.
Cash grab?
I guess so.
Highway robbery?
There was nothing special about Legends Night at all.
To be fair, the Drew and Keith match was actually pretty fucking good.
It was, but it was then ruined.
As was the Hurt Business and Lucha House Party match.
No. That was great through and through.
No, I said that's what I meant. Like that was also really fucking good.
All right.
That was actually not ruined.
Yeah. So yeah.
I was just gonna say, I need the WWE, particularly Raw, to figure their shit out in terms of timing. Because this is the second week in a row where we have gotten the most bizarre fucking cut if not the third week in a row.
Yeah.
Or, like, it just fucking ends. And you're like, okay. Freeze frame.
I just want you to know I'm super excited to talk about the ending because I thought of something hilarious. But I'll save it for when we get there. So, we started off with Miz TV, kind of introducing the Legends Night, and trying their best at making a very uneventful night something to actually talk about. And then the New Day come out. They're the guests on Miz TV, and Xavier says he's the bailiff of the talk show. He even pulls out a badge. They get into like a fucking argument. Teddy Long comes out. Probably, actually, not the best cameo that we had today. Because there was better. And then he announced the match between, or he tried to, have like a little compromise between the two, and then Adam Pearce came out and was like, Teddy, we can't do that. We have a script. We gotta go through the script. Stick to the goddamn script, you goddamn old man. And then Teddy Long says, all right, so what we're going to do is a tag team match between the New Day and Miz and Morrison. And then that's what we had. Up next, the New Day versus the Miz and John Morrison.
Yes. I just want to quickly quote a tweet from Sean Ross Sapp that says, Bill Goldberg out here picking a fight with his own imagination.
Oh my god.
And if that doesn't sum it up.
I'm so excited to like give you my thoughts on this.
We're going to be here for 4 hours. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Miz and Morrison versus New Day. We start with Xavier and Morrison in first. Xavier tries to roll Morrison up without luck. There's some kicks in midsection on Team Bulldog with Kofi to Mr. Morrison. Xavier gets back in. It's just rapid fire attacks and an elbow drop to Morrison. We get a knee strike to Xavier. The Miz gets in. He kicks Xavier. There's an attempted boot to the face, but Woods rolls Miz up instead. He gets Kofi in. We get a clothesline to the Miz from Xavier and some forearms to Kofi from the Miz. The skull crushing finale, but Kofi counters with a failed Trouble in Paradise, which is turned into a catapult, which is landed by Kofi, who goes off the ropes to crossbody Miz. Very, very hard to take notes. Very hard to take notes on that. Xavier gets in. Kofi is assisted Xavier to stomp on the Miz. In what is probably the most just flashy, stupidest fucking move I've ever seen the two of them do, and I kind of loved it because it was so fucking dumb.
Mm-hmm.
When Xavier picked Kofi up and spun him around just so he could stomp down on the Miz.
It was so nice. And then when the Miz kicked out, Xavier was just like, oh well.
We then have Morrison in. He let me back that up. Morrison gets in. There is a drop kick to the Miz. Morrison attempts a standing shooting star, but Xavier rolls away, sending Morrison to the mat. Kofi gets in. We get a low drop kick to Morrison as Xavier holds him still. We get what I'm now still calling the gut stabber because Tom Phillips has not informed me as to what the fucking move is, and nobody else has either. So, we get a gut stabber, but Kofi lands it, gets on his feet, begins twerking. We get an enziguri from Kofi to Morrison.
Don't just gloss over that. Don't just gloss over the twerking. I think it was Samoa Joe was like, Kofi twerking is not dead, and Byron's like, of course it isn't.
I love Byron Saxton so much.
Yeah. That
is my man.
The whole team of Raw commentators is unmatched, unparalleled.
I think that's like the one thing that makes it like tolerable for being 3 hours long is I get to hear Byron just making stupid comments while Joe just like sits there being the grumpiest little fuck in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Love that.
To be fair, I think this episode was great until the end.
I I wouldn't say great. This episode was pretty standard.
There
On the
wasn't
better side of the spectrum.
there wasn't a bad match. Well, okay, there weren't any horrible matches. There was like one bad match, and that match lasted like 2 seconds, so we just got through with it super quick.
Yeah. I would hesitate to say 2 matches, maybe. We'll discuss that though. We then get another gut stabber, but this time from Kofi to Morrison. Morrison instead of how Kofi ended his turn on that ride, Morrison goes spiraling and just lands face first into the mat. Kofi then suicide dives onto Miz and Morrison. We get a clothesline to Morrison from Kofi. Kofi is distracted by the Miz, which allows Morrison some room to kick him upside the head. Miz gets in and does what Miz does best, which is just kind of kicking. Morrison gets in. We get a team gutbuster to Kofi. Miz gets Kofi's arms twisted backwards, but we finally get an SOS to Miz. This leads to Morrison and Xavier getting in together. There's just a barrage of forearms and clotheslines. Xavier throws Miz from the ring. There are some knees to Xavier's stomach and an elbow to the head of Xavier. Kofi goes off the stairs with some fucking double axe handles. And Xavier goes for the tornado DDT, but Morrison turns it into a cover with his legs on the rope. Kofi then removes the legs and taunts John Morrison. Then John Morrison receives a kick in the back from Xavier and a shiniest wizard for the New Day to maintain absolutely nothing because they don't have a title, but they win.
Yeah. I mean, as expected, because I think they are trying to set up that the New Day are like the best tag team in Raw. And I assume they'll take the titles back from Hurt Business, considering what's going on with them. But they might also be setting up the fact, or the Hardy Bros as being a formidable tag team.
Maybe.
But after that, we had an interview with Mr. Randall Keith Orton, who prior to this episode tweeted, "Legends Night, huh? Oh, Randy's gonna kill some old men."
The person who set up Legends Night was just like, Randy's gonna fucking hate this.
Also, just want to mention the Mike Romy's episode of the podcast is now up on YouTube. Go watch it. Show of the year of 2021 and 2020. It's
Unless
the
you're my
best.
sister. I need some respect in this household.
Randy in the interview basically said that the voices in his head wanted him to kill Alexa, but he just couldn't. He just couldn't bring himself to. And so he shows he's still angry, so he leaves. But then we have a promo with Angel Garza flirting with Alicia Fox, who looks like she's trying to hide a neck brace. Then Angel runs into some legends. Is this the promo? No, this isn't the promo. Okay. Yeah. This isn't the Boogeyman promo.
No, but he does run into Mickie James, Tatanka, and Sergeant Slaughter.
Right. And then we move on to something came out of the blue that's just a repeat match. AJ Styles versus Elias.
Yeah, actually, people are really pissed off about the Alicia Fox promo.
Why?
Primarily because I mean, obviously I was not watching during the Divas era so much. But that said, Alicia Fox, apparently they totally fucking mistreated her. They just did a horrible job booking her and using her as a character in general.
Mm-hmm.
In the same way that I'm sure we could say for a lot of other women right now.
I mean, wasn't she just a like entourage for the Bella Twins?
I don't know about that per se. All I know is that basically people are saying like the WWE treated her so fucking horribly, and now they have the gall to be like, and now we're considering her a legend, which like, yes, it's a good thing to do that, but also you didn't treat her that way. Now it just kind of feels like you're saving face.
Yeah.
Um.
They should.
So.
I mean, they should. I feel like treat her more like she's the announcer for NXT currently. You know?
Well, that's not the announcer for NXT, I don't believe. Is it? No,
You call her Alicia. You call her Alicia like every week.
Do I now?
Yeah.
I do this probably twice a week now because I just genuinely listen. Let me tell you this.
Mm-hmm.
You try looking up announcer for NXT. Hang on, actually. I'm sure there's like a different word for like the person who does the in-ring shit, right?
I will tell you in literally just a second. Cause Pro Wrestling Fandom posts that stuff in every episode.
No, that's Alicia Taylor.
Okay.
You goof. I was gonna say they don't look anything alike. Also, the woman who walks into the NXT ring wearing ballet flats every single time is not the same woman wearing a collar, fucking whatever they're called, neck brace out of feathers.
To be fair, prior to today, I never really knew what Alicia Fox looked like. I've never seen her on TV before.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing is that like a lot of people are saying because like there's a lot of reason to believe that perhaps she was given a lot less screen time because she has darker skin than other black women sometimes do. It's something that a lot of people are saying, and I would not doubt that for the life of me with the WWE. So I think a lot of people were just like, well, this just like looks like if you're gonna consider her a legend, it would have been nice if you treated her like one.
Yeah.
You know, like kind of too little, too late. Anywho. Speaking of racism, AJ versus Elias. Can I just say, every fucking day that I get to see Omos is just a better day for me in general. Since his first time like escorting AJ, he has grown on me. He's one of my favorite like wingmen, I guess is what you could call him. I don't know. I know like back in the good old Divas days, they kind of like the other like trainee girls would like walk down with the Bella Twins, like red hair. Eva Marie did that for the Bella Twins, and she was their valet.
Dolph had
That's
a
what
couple.
They were called.
Dolph had like Diane
Fandango,
Guerrero.
I think.
Dolph had like Diane Guerrero at his side like constantly.
They obviously don't do that anymore, but so I guess I'm just gonna call him his wingman because he's not really his manager. But dude, I fucking love Omos.
Mm-hmm.
And AJ loves Omos too.
Yeah, they had like a nice chat as they were walking in.
Well, it's father and son. What can I say? We start with some forearms or like elbows that we couldn't really tell to AJ's head, followed up with just stomping styles in the corner. As much as I don't like this story term for Elias's style is just becoming more and more fucking ruthless.
He's a good wrestler.
Yeah, he's looking angrier too, which I kind of like.
Yeah.
AJ, I think at this time it's announced that AJ has entered himself into the Royal Rumble officially.
Yeah.
There's some punching and kicking of Elias. Elias then drops AJ on the ropes and then drops him ribs first into the turnbuckle. And then punches AJ off the apron so that AJ goes flying all the way to like beside the announce desk. When we come back, because once this happens, Omos just kind of like standing there because we get like a camera shot from like behind him.
Mm-hmm.
Omos is just standing there doing nothing. But when we come back from commercial, Omos has the suit jacket taken off, and I said, "Did something go down? Did I miss Papa helping his son back into the ring?" Elias then begins punching AJ, who's on the top buckle. AJ slips under him and slams Elias into the top buckle face first, which doesn't quite work when Elias is like 7 foot tall. But he sells as best he can. They then exchange, some punches, some knees, some kicks, and some chops. There's a choke slam to AJ. Elias goes up to the top rope, but AJ departs for the opposite corner. He kicks Elias upside the head. We get a phenomenal forearm met with a just fucking gruesome knee strike from Elias.
That was rough.
And then we probably get like the worst head scissors from AJ Styles that we've seen since like the more recent early days of SmackDown Live. SmackDown returning to being live. We get a brainbuster to Elias and then a Styles clash to win. And then that fucking random racist little fucking
almost
vagabond. Little goblin that lives under the fucking Thunderdome or something. I don't know. They gotta get security on that. Gets into the fucking ring and takes a guitar, Elias's guitar, and goes to smack AJ over the back with it until AJ looks up, sees Omos his foot flying towards his face, ducks down, so Omos kicks the fucking guitar away.
Not just,
and I said,
he didn't just kick it away, he smashed it into pieces.
Right, no, his foot obliterated the guitar to the point where the vagabond goblin had like a piece of like guitar shrapnel like stuck to his shirt. And like, all those videos of like fathers when like their daughter's like running into the road and they like immediately, like a car's coming, they just like suddenly like grab them. They're like, fuck. Like, like that fatherly instinct. That's what this felt like. Almost was just like, no, that's my son. Thank you. I love him. I love him and his little AJ Styles.
They're the best right now.
And it is really nice because we've talked about this a lot. Sometimes it works to have like a guy on the side that's like fucking around and playing some dirty tricks. But a lot of times it can get annoying, especially like with Bayley and Sasha.
Mm-hmm.
It is so nice that Omos quite literally only steps in when he is needed.
Yeah.
Sometimes like when he's not totally needed, but like it helps a little bit.
He's
never like pulling dirty shit.
He stops people from pulling dirty shit.
Like he stays on his side until like somebody makes him not need to stay on that side anymore.
Yeah, which is why like that makes AJ Styles look really good because his opponents are forced to have a fair fight.
And you would think that AJ would have the guy on the side that would like be pulling shit on the side too, but
now we have face AJ.
AJ was annoying me the past couple of months, I think, and then he got Omos, and suddenly I was like, "This is my favorite man. He's an amazing wrestler."
I think literally it was probably because he didn't want to be on SmackDown anymore.
That's also fair. I also think that the Jeff Hardy storyline was just fucking annoying because I think Jeff Hardy makes a lot of the storylines fucking annoying.
Yeah, I could see that.
That's my hot take for the night. Castrate me if you will.
But moving on, we have a little interview with Charlotte Flair backstage, and she just announced that she's joining the Royal Rumble alongside Nia Jax, who I think is the only other woman part of the Royal Rumble.
Shayna might be, but we don't know for sure.
Yeah, she just said it's like a good idea. She didn't say specifically whether she was going to be there.
There's 31 people in the Royal Rumble for each side,
30.
right? 30? Okay. Yeah, we're gonna get a lot of this over the next couple of weeks, I think.
Oh yeah, I think they're announcing like one person every episode.
Go on. What day is it? It's the 5th?
Mm-hmm. 3 weeks from Sunday. We've entered that territory.
Right, okay. So I got kind of mad at first because I didn't realize like how weeks work. Let me explain that. Because Tom Phillips said 3 weeks from Sunday. Oh wait, no, I'm gonna get mad now. Actually, never mind. Tom Phillips is doing the thing that fucking annoyed me because it confused the piss out of you a couple months ago. Or Tom Phillips was like, well, a week from next Sunday. And you're like, fuck, it's next Sunday? And I was like, no, it's a week from next Sunday.
Yeah.
Or he said a week from Sunday. And then you got confused. And I had to do the math in my head. And I was like, and now he's doing that shit again where it's like, no, Tom, it's a month away. It's a fucking month.
It's most confusing on Monday because it's like, oh, a week from Sunday, so a week from yesterday.
Just say, like, less than 4 weeks away, okay?
Yeah.
Don't make me do the fucking legwork.
Or, I don't know, 27 days?
Anything. Just not that stupid shit. We still have like 6 more days of the fucking week, Tom. Also, that was my other piece of news I skipped over because I figured we would get to it.
Mm-hmm.
So, glad you got to it.
What?
I was going to jump into the next match because I thought that was next.
Oh, no, that wasn't.
Oh.
We have Riddle talking to Big Show backstage. And he's trying to get him to say,
tweeting.
Big Bro. The Big Bro. Big Show's humoring him. But then we have Mr. Randall Keith Orton walking in. Really, just talking the piss out of Big Show. Not really about anything, just kind of making threats, I guess. He tries to fight him. They have like a little face-to-face. Randy just puts like a hand on like his neck. And then Big Show just sits down because he's like, I know what you want me to do, and I'm not going to. And then Randy just leaves. And then we have our next match.
Perhaps the strangest, uncomfortable match?
But it was a really good match.
Yeah.
I think everyone involved did a really good job on the wrestling side. If we're talking about the story side, it was fucking strange as hell.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, see, I don't agree with you, but okay. Also, I just want to say, I don't appreciate that Peyton and I have like the same color hair right now.
Except your roots are still your natural color. Her hair is all purple.
It's different shades though, because her roots are a lot darker. I know she's not natural blonde.
Punykin, thank you for the follow.
Right on. So we start with Charlotte and Peyton first in this match. Peyton gets thrown once and then just fucking tags in Lacey. That's simple. That fucking easy. Lacey then like flirtatiously waves at Ric Flair, who's standing ringside. And I said, that's weird. Anyways, Charlotte goes for the figure four, but Lacey grabs the rope because Charlotte goes for the figure four when Lacey's like right next to the fucking rope, which doesn't seem very smart. Peyton then is tagged in. She grabs Charlotte's hair. She sends some, less than stellar punches to Charlotte. Charlotte elbows the piss out of Peyton and then cartwheels over the ropes and spears Peyton through it. Peyton takes a shot at Asuka and brings Charlotte over to Lacey while the ref tries to calm Asuka down. They get a couple of cheap shots in while the ref isn't looking. Both ladies then are in the ring. Sorry, these notes are barely fucking comprehensible. Both ladies get into the ring, both Peyton and Lacey. And Charlotte just decides that enough is enough. She kicks Lacey in the face and then punches Peyton, gets Asuka in. There's a dropkick to Peyton and a hip attack to Lacey, who's standing on the apron. We get a hip attack to Peyton in the corner. Lacey jumps in at some point. I didn't even fucking see that happen, but Asuka brings both women down to the mat. Peyton then knocks Asuka off the buckle as she climbs up. And while Asuka's doing all this shit, Lacey's fucking walking up to Ric Flair and flirting with him. And Charlotte comes over and does exactly what I would have done, which is just fucking punches her. Just punches her in the fucking face.
Mm-hmm.
And then Lacey just fucking spears her, and I say, Goldberg, is that you? And then I regretted that feeling. Anyways, Peyton and Lacey begin attacking Asuka together. Lacey gets in with Asuka. She just kind of screams at her, punches her a little bit. Peyton gets back in. Peyton wrenches Asuka's arms backwards. Lacey gets back in, gets a submission hold on Asuka that doesn't really last very long. She doesn't get locked in. Lacey then resorts to slamming Asuka's face into the mat multiple times. Peyton gets back in. There's an elbow to Peyton. And Peyton whips Asuka into her corner, where Asuka elbows Lacey off the apron. There's a kick to the face and a neck breaker to Peyton, I believe. I don't know why I said Lacey in my notes. I think Lacey flirting with Ric Flair like fucked up my head so much while I was writing these that like I just checked out.
Probably.
We then have Charlotte versus Lacey. There's a knee strike to Peyton Royce on the apron and a clothesline to Lacey. Charlotte like does like a knee drop onto Lacey's knee, which I guess is something you can really only fucking do if you have a fucking knee pad on. Peyton Royce gets in. Charlotte suplexes Lacey, then Royce. Charlotte gets onto the second rope. We get a moonsault onto Lacey and Peyton, who are just laying there after tagging Asuka in. We get a knee strike to Royce and double knees to the face of Royce from Asuka. There's a natural selection from Flair to Royce, but Lacey breaks up that cover. We then get a hip attack that, which we haven't seen this in a while, gets Asuka wrapped up in the fucking ropes. And at this point, Lacey is trying to now seductively crawl across the, like, I think at this point she was trying to crawl across the apron and, like, seductively, like, paw at Mr. Flair. Charlotte then knee strikes her off of the apron. Then we get Charlotte versus Peyton. Charlotte goes against the ropes, and Mr. Ric Flair, for literally no reason, and there better be a good fucking one next Monday, but for literally no reason, Ric Flair grabs Charlotte's ankle, sending her face first into the mat. A move that I did not realize was supposed to happen. I don't know if anybody... I mean, I guess it was supposed to happen. It just, like, it looked so strange, and there was no reason for it, because like it wasn't like Rick was like, hello Lacey, let me seduce you as well, let me do something to help you.
You know what the reason is? Ric Flair is a horny old man, and Rick and Lacey should both go to horny jail.
Yeah, you know, that's probably fair. Lacey did post a video of her getting her makeup done while a man fanned her crotch. Fanned her crotch, it looked like, from the angle at least. Which I said, I don't really need that, but okay. Charlotte then, after the match is over, after Peyton pins her to win for her tag team, I guess, Charlotte tells Ric Flair to stay out of her business and to get the fuck out of her arena, and says, do you understand? I said, sweet girl, I don't think he fucking does.
Apparently JR once said that Ric Flair's not married, but his wife is. And that's why I miss JR.
Yeah, that's probably why I don't miss JR.
I mean, no, he's shooting shots at Ric Flair there.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Yeah, no,
miss you, JR.
Yeah, I hope he's doing fine at AEW.
Didn't he just get in trouble for saying some shit, though?
Did he?
I think so. I know that, like, for a whole week prior to the world falling apart, I had, like, every time I went to do news, there was a new person from AEW shooting on some criticisms that he had about somebody. I don't know what it was.
I don't know.
I know that he's been like really nice though to like Brody Lee's family, so like I can't really be mean to him right now. So.
Yeah.
All I know, more so, how about this? All I know is that there was some like fucking drama happening. And I know Darby Allin said something to him, or like it was something Darby Allin said. I don't know. Darby Allin was involved. There you go. That's what I know about AEW. Thank you.
But after that bizarre twist of fate, we had Drew and Sheamus backstage. And Sheamus is in that lovely, lovely coat again. Isn't it just lovely?
I need him to stop.
And he's kind of just wishing Sheamus luck. Wanted Drew to give Keith a big old kick. Yeah, he wanted Drew to give Keith a big old kick to the face.
You just said that he was wishing Sheamus luck.
Oh, did I?
Yes.
Sheamus wished him luck. And then wanted Drew to give Keith a big old kick to the face for him. But then none other than Hulk Hogan and Jimmy Hart walk in for their obligatory appearance at this Night of Legends. Oh man, and I think Hogan just says, to say Hogan. Oh god. Hulk Hogan says he sees a lot of himself in Drew. And then Drew jokes about Sheamus that he sees a lot of Jimmy Hart in him. Sheamus, the angry big man that he is, just got furious about it and stormed off. And then Drew did an impression of Hulk Hogan. And then Hulk Hogan did his little thing, mentioned Claymore Mania.
Not a thing.
I mean, he's combining Hulkamania and Claymore Country.
Yeah, but like Drew made like comments about like some throwback comments to like Hulk's things, and then Hulk said Claymore Mania, and I said also I just think it's funny that after everything, the fucking morons in PR couldn't have even thought like, hey, maybe we should just like have Hulk fucking suck it up and endorse fucking Keith.
Well, I mean,
after everything.
I mean, I know that would be like a good move, but at the same time, Drew is the face of WWE right now as the WWE champion. So of course Hulk Hogan, who is like the face of the WWE since it first started, of course he would side with Drew. They're both bootlickers, although Vince is probably Hogan's bootlicker.
Yeah. Everybody's got to have a boot to lick. Just wish Drew's wasn't fucking Vince's.
Yeah.
Anywho, I mean, Drew McIntyre is definitely like the next Undertaker in the sense that like Drew owes 90% of what he has in his life right now to Vince.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the same way that Undertaker did.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just going to have Drew McIntyre in the WWE up until like he's fucking like 50, 60 maybe.
Does that mean Sheamus is Kane?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I think it does. Well, you can't have everything.
And does that make Keith or Randy Mankind?
Probably Keith.
Yeah.
I don't know if Randy has the guts to do that. Well, maybe he does. He's kind of a psychopath.
Randy's the boogeyman. Let's be honest. But then we move on to Riddle versus Bobby Lashley.
Yeah. Scary moment in this.
I don't know about you, but I
What the
was...
fucking...
Sorry, you finish.
I was just going to say that there was a moment in this where two moments actually, one after the other, where I was like,
Trying to remember the second one.
You'll find out. It's pretty early on.
But I was super excited for this match. Just because Bobby Lashley is a great wrestler. Riddle, I feel like his style will be really interesting going up against someone like Bobby Lashley.
I personally think that we may have gotten a better match if the thing that I'll talk about in 3 notes didn't happen.
Okay.
I thought this was a good match. I just thought that maybe there was something missing, like a few brain cells. So we have Riddle versus Bobby Lashley. So Riddle attacks Bobby before the bell's even rung, which I thought was interesting because it's a very aggressive move from a dude who's like just kind of straight up gone about everything like, I don't fucking care. Bobby looks kind of like a chump for like a full minute until he just kind of palms Riddle down to the fucking canvas. Bobby then gets him in the corner and just starts fucking slugging him. Matt Riddle does something that would have been really cool if it didn't look like it was botched, which is he gets a triangle sub on Lashley that then throws Lashley over the fucking ropes, and that may have been intentional. That may have been a move.
I think the reason that happened was because his legs were around Bobby's neck.
Yeah.
And that pulled him down.
No, continue. I just don't think that he was supposed to go over the ropes like that. Maybe not that quick, at least. I don't know.
Everyone landed
like
fine. Everyone landed just fine.
Right, nothing bad happened there. That wasn't the part that maybe kind of grit my teeth for real. The next thing that happens is that after Bobby Lashley goes over the ropes and finally gets his wits about him, he picks Mr. Matt Riddle up, slings him over his shoulders, and does what Bobby has done multiple times before to people, mind you, which is one of his things is to pick somebody up, put them over his shoulders, and then run them into the fucking post. However, this time, the sound, first of all, and the part that Bobby actually hit, I think normally he kind of goes for the shoulder. This was more than definitely Matt Riddle's entire fucking noggin getting slammed at full Lashley speed into the fucking post. The sound it made was horrible, and the face Matt Riddle made when he hit the ground was the face of a man who did not know his left from his fucking right, which is normally his face, but this was worse.
After doing like a 720 in the air. Oh man. I do think though that bump was lighter than normal because when they did the replay it looked like Bobby was going a little slow on it. Riddle might have pushed off of the turn post and then Bobby could have spun him around in the air like off his shoulders.
Yeah, that or Matt Riddle comped his entire fucking noggin.
I don't think just like a hit to the head like that would have spun somebody around like 720 degrees.
I mean, there is a chance that he slapped the post as like he was going by to make that noise. It was also just the face afterwards that Matt Riddle like just did not look like he knew where he fucking was. Where I was sitting there and I was like, oh no. All right. So we get back to the match. That they go to commercial break right after that. And was it coincidental? Was it on purpose? We'll never know. We get Lashley with a spinebuster to Riddle and then a clothesline that just kind of fucking takes his head off again. Matt Riddle still did not totally look like he knew where he was. Maybe he was acting. Who knows? But we get an overhead kick finally and a kip up, which kind of made me think, okay, maybe he's got like a little more going on up there than I thought. We get a failed exploder suplex and then a PK and a senton to Lashley, a pump knee strike to Lashley, and then Lashley gets Mr. Matt Riddle over his shoulder and just slams him down into the fucking mat and just stands there. And I said, I get it. You're horrifying.
The first time that happened, where like Riddle just, like jumped out and landed on the ground, it looked like Bobby was trying to go for like some kind of F5.
Yeah, I mean he sometimes does that though.
Does he?
He's got a move that looks a lot like an F5, and sometimes I think he does actually do an F5. But because when we first started watching, I confused a lot of his moves for F5s. It is really astounding, even for how much wrestling I had watched prior to us watching. It is astounding how I didn't know any of the fucking moves. I knew what a suplex was because I knew Brock Lesnar. Going into watching wrestling and going into this podcast alone, the two moves I fucking knew at that point compared to now where I know more moves and definitely make up names for all the rest.
Puma tackle.
Puma tackle. It's the only right word for it. I know that it's a power slam, but it's a Puma tackle. Because you could call that a Puma tackle, and then you could call a power slam when when it's not a spine buster, but like they say, oh, he planted him in the canvas. That could be a power slam because that's powerful and you're slamming him. And then you get the Puma tackle.
Okay.
Anyways, we get the hurt lock and Riddle goes up and off the ropes, nearly hitting the referee. The referee ducks. Matt Riddle taps, but the referee can't see, which was kind of confusing for me personally because I was like, fuck, what are you here? Matt Riddle ends up breaking out because Lashley feels him tap and says, all right, boys, we've done it. Let's go home. And the referee's like, you didn't do shit. I didn't see anything. I said, that's on you, buddy. And Riddle then, while Lashley and MVP are arguing with the ref about who fucking won, Matt Riddle rolls Bobby Lashley up to win and then takes the fuck off because he knows if he stays there for too long, he's going to just be flattened.
Yeah. I did really like one thing about this match. I mean, I like this match in general, but one thing I really liked was Riddle looked like he was about to break out of the hurt lock, but he didn't, which is also something I really liked because it's going to be progressively Riddle getting closer and closer to breaking out of it. Which I'm super excited for that.
One day, maybe, if we're lucky.
I think we will, considering they're building up the Hardy Bros to be a tag team. Their biggest opponents are going to be the Hurt Business.
That's fair.
But after that, we move on to a promo with Ricochet and Mark Henry. And Mark Henry has lost a lot of weight. Like, he's lost a ton of weight. But he's on a scooter now because he had surgery in his foot, or his ankle, rather. I think it might have been an infection or something. And Ricochet leaves, and Randall Keith Orton walks up to Mr. Henry and starts just berating the poor man, making threats, telling him, like, I don't know, just berating him, and he tells him to scoot away, and Mark Henry just scoots away, and it's like the saddest thing ever. It's so sad.
I just fucking Randy. These people were invited. Why are you doing this?
Oh my god.
Like, what was he aiming for? Like a mass RKO where he takes out every single legend in one foul swoop?
Oh. But
Riddle.
then we have an interview with MVP and Bobby Lashley, where Bobby just says he was robbed of a victory, gets really mad and storms off, and then MVP is just like, "Shit, you guys pissed him off." And that's it. That's it. And then we had Dana Brooke versus Shayna Baszler, which was supposed to be Mandy Rose versus Shayna Baszler, but Liz, tell them what happened.
I don't want to.
Okay, then we're moving on.
I will. I'll do it. It's like 2 notes. Mandy walks out. Shayna attacks her from behind with a Kirifuda clutch. Dana comes out and says, "Why are you doing this?" And I said, "Well, because they're wrestling each other, and this is sometimes what happens in wrestling." It happened 1 match ago. Dana says, "Well, you shouldn't be so mean. I'm going to fight in her place." And Shayna kicks her in the legs, and then Dana tosses Shayna out of the ring, and then Dana lifts Shayna, but Shayna gets her in a Kirifuda clutch, and then Dana rolls her up, but Shayna doesn't let go, even after Shayna has been pinned. And Shayna just seemingly does not give a fuck about whether she wins or loses said match. And then Mandy comes in with a pump knee strike to break it up, and then more stuff happens, and girl power.
Yeah.
I guess.
So after that,
Thank you.
we had Ric Flair and Randy Orton backstage.
God fucking bless.
And he's planning to kill more old men. That's really it. And then we had Keith Lee backstage with
Real quick.
yeah.
Randy says, "Rick, won't you walk me down the aisle one last time?" And I said, "Randy, he hasn't even walked his own daughter down the aisle. Let's calm down on that. Let's take it a step back."
Oh man.
You could have said the fucking ramp. You could have said, "Walk me to the ring one last time." No, you said the aisle.
Oh my god. Alright. So we had Keith Lee backstage with Riddle. Riddle was trying to hype up Keith, saying, "New year, new champ." And this could have been a good feud. This could have. We could have gotten a lot out of this. But now it'll probably just be Keith and Sheamus. We won't even be getting Sheamus and Drew. Oh man. Alright. So now we have Randy Orton versus Jeff Hardy, because Jeff Hardy's the closest that Randy can come to killing an old man.
Yeah. So when USA Network said, "We want things to be darker," I think Randy Orton was the only one to get the fucking memo. And then did some shit where I had to sit back and say, I'm actually not looking at the TV screen because this is actually gruesome. We got very close to Triple H ripping out Dave Bautista's nose ring. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Let's start there. Right. So we start with a thumb to the eye of Jeff Hardy. And then Randy stomps on his head. Randy begins slamming Jeff face first into the announce desk, and then lands a nice little spine buster with Jeff Hardy onto the desk. He then decides that he's going to break Jeff Hardy's arms and fingers. Jeff grabs the ropes, and Randy stomps that shoulder just one last time for good measure. Jeff starts fighting back. Doesn't last too awful long. He gets fucked up a little bit. Finally, Hardy gets whipped into the buckles, and on the rebound, he clotheslines Mr. Randall. Randall then stomps on Jeff's fingers. We get a twist of fate to Randy. Jeff goes up to the top ropes, and Randall rolls away to the ringside area. Jeff decides, all right, I'm still up on the buckle, dives out onto Randy. And then I said, I'm going to go make a cocktail because I've had a lot going on. And I came back to Randall Orton's thumbs in Mr. Jeff Hardy's gauges, and he was just pulling. Mr. Jeff Hardy, who said after, what was it, Clash of Champions, I believe? Right?
He lost to Clash of Champions to a backslide.
Well, no, I'm asking, what was the ladder match with Sammy and AJ?
That was Clash of Champions.
Okay. So, Jeff said after Clash, I'm not doing any more moves that involve my gauges because I had a ladder handcuffed to my ear hole. And I guess Jeff's metaphorical spine is about as strong as his actual spine at this point in his life. Because here we are, just seconds away from Jeff Hardy's gauge holes being blown out.
You know,
Hey.
you know the funny thing about that, actually? It's not the first time Randy's done that to Jeff. He's done that to him before.
I saw it. I just, here's the thing.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people who have had gauges that have just blown out because of just instability. I would never want to be in a position where I am the person that is just throwing caution to the wind on that one. And I'm just like, well, whatever happens, happens. Oh, God. Anyways, so that's happening. And it happens for an incredibly long period of time where I'm just staring down at my laptop hoping that Tom Phillips will give some code word to tell me when it's all fucking over. And when it is, Randy goes back to stomping on Jeff. Gets a headlock on him. Jeff reaches the ropes in time. We get a jawbreaker to Randy and a near Draper DDT. And then we get the fucking inverted atomic drop, the double leg drop, the drop kick, the double axe handles. I'm never gonna like it. Like, he does it all so fast too that it's like you could do one cool move in the span that it takes you to do those 4 moves I see all the fucking time. That just require your opponent to be laying on the fucking ground.
Right.
Then there's a shoulder tackle to Randy. Jeff splashes Orton in the corner. We get a whisper in the wind on Randall. And an enziguri to, as Tom Phillips put it, the liver of Randy Orton. And a drop kick through the ropes. Jeff starts going up top again. Randy rolls away again. We finally get our lovely little Draper DDT where Randy talks to himself for 5 seconds before executing the move.
You will. Can I demonstrate? Can I demonstrate real quick?
I would love for you to, because I can't.
Basically that. Maybe a little less manic than that, but.
No, actually, I think it was a little shorter and more manic.
Oh, okay.
If I'm not mistaken.
A little more angry too.
Sometimes the cameramen don't actually get the proper angle, and the proper angle is shooting up towards Randy while he's about to do it, because then we can see his face.
Yeah.
Sometimes the cameramen just like get like a far side view or something. It's never good. This was a good one. We got a real Draper DDT and a failed RKO to Jeff Hardy. Mr. Jeff Hardy attempts the twist of fate, which is countered into an RKO, and by God, Randall Keith Orton at least killed one legend tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, he did. And then we had the Lucha House Party backstage with Melina. I'm loving the spotlight Lucha House Party has right now. Hopefully it actually means something unlike the last time.
Yeah. Also, I'm really enjoying watching Lucha House Party fight more than I have been.
Mm-hmm.
Like, back when they were on SmackDown, I was just fucking clawing my eyes out of boredom.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna risk saying this, okay? I'm gonna risk saying it. Grand Metalik wasn't looking too hot. Okay. Grand Metalik was not looking that hot during SmackDown. Especially those first episodes when they started going back to live tapings. Not looking hot. Lindsay was really carrying the fucking team. And then the whole Callisto thing was just such bogusness that this version of Lucha House Party that we have finally, like, this new improved version, amazing.
Yeah.
I'd watch them every fucking night. I shouldn't say that, actually. Knock on wood, because I might end up watching them every fucking night.
We'll get a Street Profits Angel Andrade situation.
Stop.
But so Lindsay is just infatuated with Melina. That's basically it. That's the promo.
I just like that he called it Lucha Legends Night.
Yeah.
And I was like, yes, Lindsay, this is for you.
And then we had the Hurt Business versus Lucha House Party.
I am still convinced that Lince Dorado is attractive under that mask, and I will never forgive SmackDown for teasing him taking his mask off and then him never taking his fucking mask off. One day I'll know. One day I'll know the fucking truth.
Was it SmackDown that teased it or Lince? Because Lince posted on Instagram.
Well, I figure like that shit's like all. Sorry, didn't see the cat fucking walk in and then she sneezed right next to the chair. So I'm not gonna get past that for a while. Hi, hon.
Okay.
Anyways, what I assume is that like they can't just post that shit online if it's not gonna actually like if there was not clearance story wise.
Right.
So, anyways, never forgiven SmackDown, which just is part of the long laundry list of shit I will never forgive SmackDown for. Anywho, so we start with Grand Metalik versus Shelton. I'm gonna be honest. If you thought my notes for Charlotte and Asuka versus Peyton and Lacey were bad, these are worse because this match was so fucking bonkers that I honestly like. I was too busy watching the moves to take notes. And it was like a good length for a match too. It wasn't like too many like fucking like covers or anything like that. We got a shoulder tackle to Grand Metalik. And just a fucking nasty fucking head scissors from Grand Metalik. And then Grand Metalik got powerbombed by Shelton. Looked phenomenal and then got powerbombed. Cedric then tags himself in on Shelton. Lince gets in. We get a fucking bonkers Hurricane Rana. Cedric does... I don't even know what the fucking move was that Cedric did. I just know that I sat there, and that was half the reason why I have such horrible notes, was because I sat there for a while and I was like, what? MVP compares Cedric to a pit bull, which, sure, we could say that. We could say other things too, but, which I think, as Mark put it best, more of a chihuahua. But who's really counting dog breeds?
Yeah.
I do like that MVP is like, no, he's a pit bull. He's fierce. It's like, I've only ever seen those eyes on one thing before, and that is a chihuahua that has gone crazy. We get a jawbreaker to Cedric. Shelton gets in. He begins punching Lince in the corner. Cedric tags it on Shelton. Shelton tags himself back in. Lince, while Shelton and Cedric are arguing, Lince kind of just gets bored of the whole fucking ordeal and kicks Shelton in the face. And then I lost just about everything after that. Lince ended up countering something from Shelton, and then there was a crucifix pin for Lince and Grand Metalik to win the match. Shockingly, I did not see that happening. And I'm kind of excited that, like, I don't want to say excited because I don't want to see another tag team falling apart, but I am kind of excited to see this drama in Hurt Business with Cedric and Shelton has been unfolding at the perfect pace.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of into it.
Yeah. But I doubt they would kind of eliminate one of their top tag teams right now. So they're probably going to they're probably gonna either have them make up, or Hurt Business and Retribution go back to feuding over Ricochet.
I guess my thing is more so like, I don't know if at the end of the day, I don't see them breaking up the Hurt Business tag team wise.
Mm.
But I don't know how they're going to rein Cedric back in because he already seems way beyond the pale.
Right.
So.
I mean, how you do it is they win. Because that was Cedric's whole thing. The reason he joined the Hurt Business was because he was getting beaten up. He was losing a lot. Winning is his thing.
But his craziness wasn't caused by losing because his craziness kind of helped them win a couple matches.
Right.
So,
maybe he's gonna challenge like Drew McIntyre for the title. Maybe he wants his own title.
I do like that, like, Shelton seems... Because Shelton kind of had, like, this vibe when he came back for Apollo.
Mm-hmm.
When he had his return. Shelton kind of had, like, this, like, slightly immature vibe where he's like, I'm too cool for school. Cedric makes him look like the fucking teacher in the room. Where he's just like, fuck is this kid? Jesus.
Yeah.
I'm tired. Which I like.
Oh, man. But then we had... Oh, wait.
I was just going to say that this was one of my favorite matches because, again, it was like a perfect length.
Mm-hmm.
And I always feel bad when my notes aren't good because that's half of what, I don't know, makes my half of the podcast coherent. Is that I have to take good notes. Otherwise, I've forgotten the entire fucking evening already. Like, I literally could not do this without notes. I really like matches where I'm just like, holy shit. And then suddenly I'm like, I just missed half the fucking match. Gotta rely on that memory that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Then we had the weirdest, not even the weirdest promo. Just a funny promo with Angel Garza as the 24/7 champion because he won it on TikTok. He who was he talking to? He's talking to like Mickie James? Tintaka, is that his name? Tatanka? And was Sergeant Slaughter the other one?
Yes.
I think he was talking to them, and I think it was Mickie who. No, it wasn't Mickie. It was what's her name? Molly Holly.
Hang on. We already went through this once. No, Molly Holly was around when Randy was talking to Flair.
Right.
It was Mickie.
Okay.
And Sergeant Slaughter and Tatanka.
Okay.
Also, I'm sorry. If anybody understands this, the woman who plays the mother in Orange is the New Black, I don't know her fucking name. I need anybody who sees or has Google and the desire to look this up, to fucking look up what's her fucking name. I will find this like right now. Elizabeth Rodriguez and Mickie James look the fucking same, and it blows my mind because every time I see Mickie James, I'm like, Elizabeth Rodriguez? Is that you? This is a weird place for you to be. But anyways, continue, please.
Yeah.
Before you derail.
So Mickie tells him about like there's like Ariana Grande, there's Cardi B, there's yada 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 in the other room. They would love to talk to you. And so he goes in the other room, opens the door, and inside is the Boogeyman, which was that was the best appearance from a legend tonight.
It was like the only really good one. And I also just want to say, Cardi B found out about this, or she may have already known. I don't know if you can just like use her name willy-nilly on TV shows like that. Mm-hmm. But Cardi B tweeted about it, and she said, Vince McMahon, count your fucking days.
She's been tweeting about the whole episode.
Well, yeah, because she was like, this is not how I thought my debut on WWE would go. I was like, please! That's the fight I want to see. Cardi B versus Vince McMahon. Give the people what they want.
But then Angel's scared out of the room, and out comes R-Truth to pin him and win the 24/7 title, thus making R-Truth currently the number 1 ranked wrestler in the Mark Power Rankings in 2021. He is ranked above Drew McIntyre after today.
Also, to be fair, as much as I made fun of them doing the title exchange on TikTok, which I still think is stupid, the TikTok was pretty fucking funny.
Yeah, with the trombone.
Trombone, John Cone.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I mean, it fits Angel Garza, I guess. His current persona.
Yeah. I also like that R-Truth was talking about all the places he flew to, and Xavier's just like, that's international travel. I get it.
And he's like, we're celebrating 2022. And then Kofi's like, no, it's 2020 right now. We're celebrating 2021. And R-Truth's like, I was a test.
You know what? Honestly, fine. Let's just jump ahead. Why not? At this point, 2021's not going to be that much better.
Alright, so then we finally had Drew McIntyre versus Keith Lee for the WWE Championship.
Alright. I need dibsies on giving my first 2 cents first as to how this match ended.
Mm-hmm.
Because I got some shit to say and I won't remember it if you talk first.
Okay.
Thank you. My goldfish memory sucks. So let's start with the fact that Drew comes out, he does his whole whatever. It's so bad. I love him so much, but I fucking hate him so much at the same time. Keith fucking Lee comes out from the outset, from the first go around there. Hogan doesn't even fucking clap, and I'm like, dude, for fuck's sake, like, hey, can you not knock that over? She's going to. She's rubbing her head against the fucking tripod. This is why the cat wasn't allowed in the room for the Mike Romies. But it's like, we get it. You're a horrible racist scumbag. Just clap. Just fucking clap. It takes 2 seconds to go, you know how many times I've clapped for people I don't like? And not out of any horrible ill will or bigotry. Just people I don't like. I still clap. Like, Jesus fuck. Hulk Hogan's one of those people whose, like, persona supersedes the fact that he is just a trash human being. Everyone's like, oh, Hulk Hogan, huh? And then you have to, like, sit back and you're like, no, he sucks.
Yeah, like...
The man's a horrible, horrible person.
There's a reason so many guys backstage give him the cold shoulder.
Dude, fucking... I don't remember Big Swole's tweet exactly. But Hulk Hogan said something along the lines of, like, the younger guys are scared... Hi. The younger guys are scared of me because they think I'm going to steal the main event. And Big Swole was like...
That ain't it, Terry.
Yeah, she said, that ain't it, Terry.
I have Hulk Hogan's exact quote here.
Oh, do we want to read that on the podcast?
He said, it's a mixed bag. Some people I get a really warm reception from. Some of the younger guys are really cold to me, like I'm coming to steal the main event. And I'm like, I can't do this anymore, guys. I'm not a threat. But we all know, racism and bigotry aside, if he was still, like, capable, he would 100% come back and, like, joke about a title run, try and steal the main event spot. You know, he would.
And, like, first of all, when you said, I have the quote right here, I thought you were going to talk about the, one of the things that came out more recently about things that he has said in the past. And I said, I don't think we want to do that right now.
No.
But yeah, it's just like, dude, how far detached are you from, like, the world? Oh my god, I could talk about this for years. Hulk Hogan's a racist piece of shit. That's where it ends. No amount of fun feather boas or handlebar mustaches is gonna get past that. Anywho. We start with a head. Ma'am, I'm begging you. You've moved that like several inches. Stop hitting it. You're lucky you are so cute. It's my fault. I was petting her, so now she's just trying to pet her head on everything else. So we get a headlock on Keith, but Keith just kind of rolls Drew off his back. We get a nice little slap to the chest. And Keith trips on Drew's back as he's doing the thing that Keith likes to do, which I think is always kind of fun, where he does the same thing that Kofi does, except it's Keith Lee and not Kofi, where he jumps over somebody's back like Frogger or Leapfrog.
Mm-hmm.
I'm begging you. So yeah, Keith trips on Drew's back on that first attempt. And Drew then runs right into a shoulder tackle. And Drew starts kind of being a little bit of a bitch. And Keith says, it's a title match. Like, Jesus Christ, stop being an asshole. And Drew says, you're right. And then bitch slaps Keith. And I said, okay. I guess this is what we're doing tonight. Cool. And then Drew just kind of fucking hoes down on Keith. He takes him out in a fucking corner. A kick to the face of Keith, and Keith, instead of retaliating in any actual way in that moment, just has Drew run into a fucking forearm smash that levels McIntyre all the way. And if there's one thing I really love, and I don't know if it's partially real because Keith is probably built like a brick fucking house, I do love the way that people sell their hits off of Keith.
Mm-hmm.
In that it's Keith looks like if I ran into him, I would break my fucking nose based on the way that these wrestlers react to him. And I love that.
Yeah.
It's rare that you get just generically a lot of wrestlers selling that shit the same way. And that consistency goes a long fucking ways.
Mm-hmm.
Drew beats Keith down to a knee, sends a boot into his face, and then Mr. Keith slaps Drew's chest. Keith then clotheslines McIntyre over the top rope. We get a boot to the face of Lee ringside, and Lee, in perhaps my favorite clip of the night, just shoulder tackles Drew over the fucking barricade. And the fucking angle that they got was camera down low, shooting up between the fucking barricade and the apron. And you just see Drew McIntyre go up and disappear. And I said, well said. Nice to know you. And Mark and I all had our thoughts of Mark and I all had our thoughts. All 40 of us.
Yep.
We had our thoughts on how this would end. I kind of thought that Sheamus would come out. You thought that maybe Randy would, or Drew would get counted out.
I thought Fiend too.
You also said something about Edge, which
I thought if Randy would come out, they would bring out Edge.
Maybe Edge would, or maybe one of the legends would interfere. Who's to say?
Yeah.
But we all know how it ends anyway. So, there's a jawbreaker to Keith. Drew is shot right into the buckles, and we get sweet General Payne Drew just reporting for fucking duty, just grasping I was like, Drew, do you even know where you're hurt? Because they said the ribs, and you're grasping at your tit. So, we get a spinebuster to Drew, who at this point is now just scraped to fucking bits. It looks like a bear has scratched the back of him, leading to all new meetings for Grizzly Magnum. But the spinebuster just... Dude, Keith Lee's time at his extra training days on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I guess they're serving him well. Because holy fuck, it looked like it hurt like a bastard. We get a second one, and at this point I was like, Drew is not retaining. There's no way. And Drew dodges Keith, sending him into the corner. We get a near belly to belly on Keith, but it doesn't work because Keith is massive. Keith sends some knees into the midsection of Drew, and we finally get the belly to belly to Keith, which just made my little head spin. We get a neck breaker and a kip up, and a sunset flip to Keith somehow. And then Keith just slams Drew McIntyre into the fucking canvas. The sweet skinny bastard just goes. And the more I'm reading this, the more I'm like having flashbacks to Drew McIntyre buddying with like Hulk. And after we just talked about everything we talked about, I'm just getting angrier and angrier and angrier, but that's fine. There was a time to talk about it. I'm glad it passed. Keith is then dropped right onto the fucking corner of the announce desk. My dude laid there so perfectly still, face not moving, staring into the ether after that happened, that I was like, I think we know how the match ends.
You could tell that based on Drew's face and like his stature that he was having trouble carrying Keith in the powerbomb.
Yeah. Which we've seen that even with Bobby Lashley, who's fucking jacked and can bench press the best of them. He lifted Keith once, and even he looked like he was like doing that thing that you do when you like lift something heavy and you're like, fuck. But yeah, Keith basically just laid so still, and I know that exact feeling where it's like, if I don't move, I won't feel every bone that's been broken out of place. Which I'm sure it's not that hard. It's probably just the same as like bumping into the corner of a table because the desk gives way so quickly. But still. Drew goes up to the top rope to jump down with a clothesline to Keith. He goes for the backslide, but of course Keith is too fucking heavy. And Keith tries to do that same thing to Drew, but Drew's too nimble for that counter. We get a future shock DDT to Keith. Keith sees Drew going up top and knocks him down in order to meet him up there. And then we get the most fucking... Like, the move itself was ridiculous. And the safety of it was just made it so much better. Keith Lee executed just the most beautiful fucking Spanish fly on Drew McIntyre. And you could see there was a split second right before like Keith made that jump where you could see him kind of like touching Drew's head to like make sure when they landed it wasn't Drew's head going down first.
Yeah.
And of course Drew was like still as a fucking like board in his arms. But it was just... My brain didn't really compute what had happened until somebody said what had happened. It was such a cool move.
A man that big should not be capable of a move like that.
Yeah, no, not the Spanish fly. That's like an Angel Garza move. But somebody said Adam Pearce definitely had to have taught that to Keith. Like,
yeah.
There's no way. We get a kick to the knee of Keith and a spine buster with a jackknife cover to Mr. Lee. With no luck, Drew wants that Claymore, but his little feetsies get caught. And then, in like what could only be summed up as like a grand finale, honestly, we get the two men going off the ropes super fucking fast, a lot of velocity there, and a phenomenal fucking Claymore that just takes all of Keith down, connects perfectly. The last 3 minutes were worth the price of admission with this match. And Mr. Drew gets a fucking microphone and says, hey, Keith. Because, like, you know, he got Keith up and he gave him, like, that little, like, tap on the chin, like, hey, keep your head up. And, you know, he's about to say something like, hey, Keith, thanks for the match. I had fun, and I'm glad you were there, and I respect you. And then Goldberg comes out, and, okay. This isn't necessarily my 2 cents, but it'll merge into my 2 cents. I'm always biased with Drew McIntyre. I'll admit that. I love him. Probably shouldn't. I'm sure one day I'm going to find a reason not to. Until that day. I love him. I really like the person that he is. Hopefully I'm never proven wrong. So sometimes people like do promos, and like I admit, I'm like, yeah, okay, fine. I kind of understand the truth of the promo in terms of kayfabe. And Goldberg comes out, and Goldberg's like, "You're disrespectful. You definitely think that you're better than all those legends back there. You definitely think that you could take any of them on, and all this shit." And I was like, I'm sorry. There's a man prowling the backstage area, threatening to kill every fucking legend. He fucking berated Mark Henry into cowering away, and you're telling me that you're going after Drew McIntyre for being disrespectful? What? Like, he could have cut any fucking promo he wanted in that moment. He could have said, you know, you're a fucking hot shot. You got a lot of what it takes, but I'm better than you. He could have fucking said that. But he had to go down the disrespectful route with all of these men that Drew has outwardly respected multiple times. And they have said in return, we respect you, and that's why we helped you win at Payback in the ambulance match.
I have a feeling that Randy was supposed to be the champion today. Randy was supposed to be the WWE champion, but then that Raw episode happened. Goldberg had that script from that first time, had not looked at it since, had probably not paid attention to WWE at all since then, and then came out. Vince was probably telling him what was going on, and he was like, all right, I'll just do my fucking thing. I read your script, whatever. Did the wrong script. Because I saw somebody say maybe he was trying to talk to Roman, but Roman hasn't been disrespecting legends at all. Roman hasn't said a word to legends. Yeah. It's just Randy.
In fact, he's been respected by his legends because fucking the family came out after he won his fucking match to become head of the table. It's like, this is the thing. This is the thing about writing, okay? As script writers, we understand. Sometimes you look at a scene and you're like, that doesn't actually seem right now that I think about it. And then you rewrite the scene. Because writing is all, it's here. It's actually quite, if you know how to write, it's quite easy to rewrite a thing. And there's a very obvious reason to rewrite it. There were a million promos that they could have cut right there. There were a million things that they could have said. But to take the disrespectful route, that just seems like the most bizarre accusation of Drew McIntyre, the fucking character. His whole thing is that he just fucking hella respects people to a fault.
And like,
he respects Sheamus.
And like, if that was the plan for Goldberg to go out with that intention, what is Randy's whole storyline with the legends leading up to? Like, what was the point of that? I'm telling you, Randy was supposed to be champion today. Goldberg didn't give a fuck that things changed.
I mean, that's possible. That would make a ton of fucking sense. That script, whether it was or was not, like in truth, that script was meant for Randy Orton. Like, to be said to him. It just, I don't know how they're going to go about this, because that script was delivered to a heel.
Yeah.
That script was meant to be for a heel. Like, next Raw, are we going to have Drew be like, I have no fucking clue what that man was saying to me? Also, even so, if Goldberg's going out there with the you don't respect people fucking script, why did Drew offer Keith his fucking hand after the match?
Yeah.
It's like the most respectful shit you can do in wrestling.
Drew even offered Goldberg his hand. And Goldberg said no.
Like, I guess maybe Goldberg's whole thing is like, you act like you respect people, but you're facetious or something like that. But it's like, is he? Because that seems like a lot of effort to go through to be just a fucking liar.
Especially everything that happened with Ric Flair.
Like, why did Drew run out all those times to protect Ric Flair? Like, what are we going to have here? Like, are we going to have, like, a round table with, like, Big Show, Christian, Ric Flair, Shawn Michaels, where they say, listen, Goldberg, you're out of your fucking gourd. Chill.
Mhm.
Also, let me say what I already said on Twitter, but I'm going to reiterate, because I didn't get to say it out loud in front of a camera. Goldberg is like everything that I hate about men. The character, at least. I don't fucking know the man. I don't give a shit. But my dude comes out of the fucking woodwork last year and says, hey, Roman, I want your Universal title. I know I was in like one pay-per-view where I speared Dolph like 41 times.
It was
whatever.
It was Fiend he fought.
No, remember the one where Dolph just kept standing up? That was like...
I think that was like 2019. That was not
or
2020.
maybe
2020 was Super Showdown against The Fiend.
No. I'm just saying, as far as his history prior to that moment of challenging Roman for the year prior, I think that was 2019. I could be confusing that with 2016, though.
Maybe.
Anyways, that's not the point. Goldberg shows up 2-3 times a year, maybe. Mostly pay-per-views. At least recently. Says, hey, bro, want that title? Give? And Roman's like, fine, I guess. And then Roman said, oh, COVID, never mind. Fuck you. Then we don't see Goldberg for a fucking year. And I said, okay, maybe Goldberg will come back, and then I'll fucking care. And Goldberg comes back, which we really should have fucking seen, by the way. We should have seen this coming. For all the stupid fucking predictions we have ever made about legends returning, I'm mad that we didn't see this coming.
To be fair, like, everything prior to this had to do with the Universal Championship, SmackDown, Roman, Fiend, etc., etc.
It's just... my dude comes out of fucking nowhere, gone for a year, gone since fucking WrestleMania, and says, I deserve that title more than you, Andrew. And I said, well, I'm not being biased here when I say, 1, no you fucking don't. 2, where the fuck have you been? And 3, there is at least 12 people on the fucking Raw roster and maybe like 8 on the SmackDown roster that deserve it way more than you do. And that is including The Miz.
Yeah. I think The Miz would definitely have a better show than Goldberg.
I would quicker have The Miz against Drew McIntyre at Royal Rumble than this.
To be fair.
Because at least The Miz shows up.
And to be fair, yeah, The Miz, if he was fighting Drew McIntyre for the championship, it would be a fucking great match. Because I've seen him against Randy Orton for the championship, and that was great.
It's just, it is the audacity of this fucking, again, I'll emphasize this one. It's in bold. Man. To be like, I've been gone for a year. I've done literally fucking nothing for this company in that year. Besides, show face at maybe an event or two. I don't fucking know. Sign the rights away to my likeness. But yeah, I deserve that fucking title. Whereas The Miz is just out here scrapping to get a fucking chance. Yeah. It's straight up, it's probably going to end up happening. Goldberg wins. Miz comes in, somehow defeats Goldberg. Money in the bank. Cash.
If Goldberg wins the title, also, we never mentioned, Goldberg challenged Drew for the championship at Royal Rumble.
Oh.
But if Goldberg wins the title, we're not doing the podcast anymore.
Don't say that!
Well, because I'm going to refuse to watch WWE anymore in that case.
Oh, well, guys, it's just going to be me again, so hope you enjoyed it the first time. There were so many times, especially with the Universal title, especially during the Braun Fiend thing, where it got to the point where I was like, I'm going to tear my hair out. Where I would have if Goldberg's fucking music had played during any of those matches at any pay-per-view at any fucking regular just night, I would have been like, fuck, it's Goldberg. The fucking music started playing as Drew was talking. I was like, fuck.
Yeah. And also, one last thing. Nobody wants to see Goldberg against the top guys. Nobody. His matches are way too short. All he does is really spear people and maybe suplex. People want to see him come out, spear a mid-card, and leave. Literally what Roman's original gimmick was during his return. That's all they want from Goldberg. Like, have him spear Dolph 5 times and have that be it.
His moveset is so limited now. It is quite literally spears and suplexes. And honestly, Roman and Bobby do that better. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you're old. It's fine. You know, there are people who are just as old as Goldberg, you know, that aren't doing this shit. And I know at the end of the day, it's probably a cash grab from Vince. Fine, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I cannot explain to you. You know, when people were talking, oh, it'll be Drew and Randy at Royal Rumble. Oh, it'll be Drew and Keith at Royal Rumble. It'll be Drew and The Miz at Royal Rumble. I was like, okay, cool. I'm excited for that. This is the only person. They could have fucking said, it's going to be Drew and Grand Metalik at Royal Rumble. And I would have been like, fine.
Okay.
If I knew that it was going to also... No, I'm saying, if I knew it was either that or Goldberg, I would have said, okay.
Well,
I would have sat back.
To be fair, Grand Metalik and Drew would be a banger.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if Grand Metalik would do that well with a head scissors or Hurricane Rana on a man that tall, but...
I think so.
Listen, I cannot describe how little I'm excited for this now. And it makes me mad, because I'm almost always really excited for a Drew McIntyre title defense.
Mm-hmm.
Nervous, but I'm usually pretty fucking excited for it, because I know that we're going to see some really good match. Even at Hell in a Cell, when I kind of knew that Drew was losing, I was still excited, because I was like, this is a fucking ridiculous match. These two guys are dumbasses. Yeah. It's so painful. It's so stupid.
The only way I could see them kind of redeem it and, you know, nix this is have The Fiend come back and be like, our business isn't done, Goldberg. And takes out Goldberg before the match. So we still have a Goldberg Fiend match at Royal Rumble, but somebody else is challenging Drew. Now, Randy Orton's still part of the Fiend scene, so that's not going to happen, but that's literally the only situation that would be possible.
Oh, man. This is just so sad. It's so sad, because, like, when a legend returns, you kind of want to be, like, you kind of want to pop for it, but... Mm-hmm. I think this is the one way that they could have brought Goldberg into this, and I am just not excited.
In all fairness, I pop every time I hear his music just because his music's so good.
His music is really good.
But yeah, no. Story-wise, this sucks. This is awful.
It's just a stupid fucking cop-out for what could have been a match with a real storyline, a real finishing, and I really hope that they do something good with this. Also, how are they going to have Goldberg win when he doesn't show up? Like, he's not going to be a fighting champion.
He won against Fiend.
He doesn't have the stamina.
He won against Fiend in 2020.
Huh?
He beat Fiend in 2020 for the Universal Championship. And that's when Roman was going to fight him for the Universal, but then Braun had to fight him.
Yeah. I'm just saying. I mean... When did he beat Fiend?
Super Showdown.
What year?
2020.
19. Okay.
2020.
Okay. So, okay. Okay.
Mm.
So, in your power ranking from last year, which I assume you still have
Yes.
for posterity,
Yes.
how many matches did he fight in?
2. It was those 2.
Okay. So, let me just put this way. They better, if they give him the fucking title, they better have a good fucking escape plan.
They give him the title, he won't be losing it till WrestleMania.
Well, that's 1 month. So that's not the end of the world.
No, that's not 1 month.
Yeah, it is. No, it isn't.
WrestleMania is April, so that's 3 months.
Isn't that an elimination chamber?
It's well, it depends. Last year was like Elimination Chamber, Super Showdown. Yeah.
I just like, and also the fact that like everybody on Twitter, and I follow a very wide variety of people. I follow people that watch WWE religiously, and I follow people that watch it kind of tangentially, and people who just watch it because they have to fucking watch it for like the fact that they run like some social media thing. No one's excited. No one is looking forward to this.
Yeah, and I feel that makes me think that WWE's gonna do something to redact it.
But it's Goldberg, dude. Like, I don't know if it's not as easy as like the fucking Money in the Bank contract.
Yeah, I don't know. But shall we
Let's
go to the bests of the night?
We shall.
Alright, so promo of the night. Let's start there. Where's... What's up?
It does not look like... There's New Year's Eve, Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, and NXT UK TakeOver Dublin. That is the only stuff that has been announced so far.
Yeah, they're probably not going to announce the next one till Royal Rumble. But...
Yeah, I don't know why I always expect like a full fucking list. I guess it's because towards the midway of the year they do have, because I mean around June or July they had a full list of what was happening.
No, I think it wasn't until like August or September, closer to then. But it changes every year. They might have like Revolution or something, or like Evolution. Stomping Grounds. No, I think there's Revolution. There's like Revolution.
AEW has Revolution.
Oh, it must have been an old one that I saw pop up then. So, I mean, it could be like Stomping Grounds, could be Crown Jewel. Who fucking knows at this point? What's up?
So, PW Stream, I'll get over this real quickly. PW Stream released an article that Vince McMahon told WWE writers nobody wants to see women wrestle over men, and it's probably just bullshit. It's actually from Ringside News. But like I'm reading like the fucking comments, and I'm just like,
that's your mistake.
That's the general populace, ain't it? I just gotta watch NXT. Jesus. Anyways. Please.
All right. So, promo of the night. We started off with Miz TV, which was fun. It was nice. New Day always gives us a good time. Miz snapping is always fun to see because it's the close we get to a very aggressive Miz. Teddy Long's appearance was also nice. Then we had the Randy Orton interview, which was the start to horrifying things. Then we had Angel Garza with Alicia. It was alright. Charlotte Flair interview that announcing Royal Rumble. Riddle talking to Big Show, and then Randy threatening Big Show. That was the start to all of the threatening, and I was it was so fucking funny. I loved it. I loved the Big Show one. I think the Big Show was the best out of all of them. All of the threatenings. And then we had Drew and Sheamus backstage. It was horrible because Hulk Hogan showed up. But Jimmy Hart's appearance was great. Then the Mark Henry one. That was so sad. Seeing Mark Henry just scoot away. Oh my god.
That was cruel. It wouldn't have been so sad if like Mark Henry was just like not fresh from ankle surgery and like could just like be like, okay, bye. It wouldn't have been as sad, but like just watching him scoot away. It's fucking Mark Henry.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Also, to be fair, I don't know if he actually did really lose a lot of weight or if it's just not having been able to work out for a while because of whatever was going on with his ankle. But sometimes with certain surgeries, I know that you do have to sometimes lose weight before them. Yeah. So that may have also been the cause of it. But also, if he's not working out constantly, then that would be the case.
But also, congrats on losing all the weight. Because it looks like he's at a healthy size.
If that's where he wanted to be.
True, yeah.
I hope you're happy, Mr. Mark Henry.
Okay, so then we had the MVP and Bobby interview, which was interesting. We had Ric Flair and Randy Orton. We had Keith Lee with Riddle, which is alright. We had Lucha House Party with Melina. That was cute. And then we had the Angel Garza promo with Boogeyman losing the title. That was fun. That was nice. But I do think I want to give it to Randy threatening Big Show. Specifically that one.
Personally, my favorite of Randy was him asking Rick to walk him down the aisle. At the end of the day, we're getting the same thing. We're just getting Randy Orton threatens old men.
All right, yeah, let's bubble it all in. But it does make me mad because knowing that Goldberg was supposed to be saying that to Randy, and now it's kind of pointless. All of that, it makes me mad.
Yeah, I get that. All
right, so now best wrestler of the night. All right, I'm pretty solid in my pick. I don't know about you. But we started off with the New Day versus the Miz and John Morrison. I picked Kofi. Kofi popped this match. He was just out of control. Xavier was good too, but I think Kofi really shined today more than Xavier. Kofi was just like so high energy, hitting everything, looking like better than normal. And then we had AJ Styles versus Elias, and although Elias did a great job, I do want to give this one to AJ. AJ always looks fucking like something else. I always say this, he's one of the best wrestlers right now, objectively. Then we had Charlotte Flair and Asuka versus Peyton, Royce, and Lacey Evans. And you know what? I'm giving this one to Asuka. Asuka really, really impressed me today. Normally I'm not a huge fan of hers, mainly because of a disappointing Raw Women's Champion run. But my God, she really came alive today. In every way. It wasn't just like, that spur of the moment, you're tagged in, you suddenly dominate for a little bit and get the pin. No, she was consistently impressive the whole match. And I didn't even mind the back check into the ropes. I didn't mind that. Today, at least.
Yeah.
But then we moved on to Riddle versus Bobby Lashley. I'm gonna give this one to Bobby. Mainly because of what was the name of that move? It was like the Dominator or something. At the end,
yeah.
The Dominator.
Yeah.
That was sick. Bobby is just he if this was a different world and I was writing the WWE, I would make him probably the next contender for the championship, even though he had it previously, or he had a chance previously. I think he deserves another go at it. Officially part of the Hurt Business. He just is out of control and amazing lately. He's in just beautiful form. And then we had Dana Brooke versus Shayna Baszler. Give it to Dana. Shayna didn't do anything. Dana didn't do anything either, but Dana got the pin, I guess. I don't know. And then we had Randy Orton versus Jeff Hardy. I'll give this one to Randy. Because he's a character.
Yeah, I liked him more than I liked Jeff Hardy. And I think that's just because Randy's more interesting to watch.
More interesting. He's like I said, he's a character. Like, he comes off the screen. Jeff's kind of, yeah, he's kind of a wet blanket.
I also think because Randy has so much facial expression and just like these like little body quirks, so it's like it's more interesting to watch him just to see what the fuck he's doing.
Yeah. And also with the whole Gage thing, although that was horrifying and disgusting, he was playing it off really well. And I could tell the pain on Jeff Hardy's face was legitimate pain and not, oh, I'm faking pain.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had Lucha House Party versus the Hurt Business. I gotta go with Lindsay. Lindsay popped off. My God, did Lindsay look great.
He's better and better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it makes me really want them to be like actual contenders for the tag team championship, and I hope that Grand Metalik is actually a contender for the cruiserweight championship. Seeing them with gold will be awesome because they have been in top form lately. And last but not least, Drew McIntyre versus Keith Lee. I picked Keith. Keith just, especially after that Spanish Fly, he looked amazing. He looked better than normal, which I think is the most important thing to think about here. Drew looked like his normal self, maybe a little less because of what he was dealing with in Keith. But Keith he especially proved today, that he is not just a large man. He is a large man capable of cruiserweight moves. Like, holy shit, that was great. And I think the whole bit of like them slapping each other back and forth, that felt very out of character for Drew. Whereas for Keith, he played that off really well. And I know it wasn't like Drew's fault that it was out of character for him. It was probably like the writing that was given to them. But it was still like kind of a jarring moment. Do you want to say something?
I don't know. I think for me, and try to hold back on making fun of me here. This last match, it was actually really hard for me to figure out who I liked more. Mm-hmm. Just because they both had like, I would agree with you on Keith here. But it's just they both had like fucking their last moves, like their last real moves were just, I mean, obviously the Spanish Fly was something else. But even that Claymore just fucking, I felt my bones shake. It looked so much meaner than any Claymore that we have seen in recent times, just because of the velocity coming off that rope.
Yeah.
But I think I would give it to Keith anyways, because of just the fact that Keith Lee is not a Spanish Fly type of wrestler, if you will.
And also, like,
it's not really him.
Also, like, I've been a fan of Drew's since, like, we've been watching, and I feel like he's the best person to have the title right now. But there was nothing I wanted more watching this match than for Keith to win. Like, there was just something about his performance today that just made me really want him to win. But my pick overall for Wrestler of the Night tonight, 100%, is Keith Lee.
Yeah, sure. Sure. I just did a thing. I got someone that I like that I follow because he was on Botchamania. He liked it. I just because this guy that I follow because he was on Botchamania and he runs a couple wrestling podcasts. And Sean Ross Sapp tweeted at 10:36. I'm so excited for this match. And the other guy, Seahawk, tweeted in all caps at 10:58. I hate it here. And I said, this is all you need to know about the last half hour of Raw. But Seahawk just liked it. Which makes my little whatever. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now.
Anyways. But anyways, I agree with you. I really liked Keith tonight. I think when Keith was sent down, not sent down. It's not like fucking baseball. But when Keith was picked for extra training, I definitely was like, this is bullshit. Mm-hmm. He doesn't need it. And it really seems like Keith has not like let that go to his head in the sense that like bog him down in any way. It seems like he's like really learning shit. And I'm fucking scared of what he's gonna be when like Vince is like, okay, the extra training's done. Because I think he's gonna be like the fucking most fearsome fucking competitor on like WWE, and that's like
who else?
He's like 347 fucking pounds or something, and he's doing a fucking Spanish fly.
Who else was called to training? It was Keith Lee, Omos, and who else?
Omos. And someone else that I can't pinpoint. Was it AJ?
No, I don't think it was AJ.
It was Dio Madden, I think.
Oh. Huh. Okay.
I think it was Dio.
Yeah, it was Dio.
And it was kind of interesting because I was like, I think AJ was part of that.
No, I don't think so. I think we're just talking about AJ because of Omos.
I don't know. There was someone else, because I think I said something along the lines of, it was like, it's weird that 90% of the people that were pinned for this are not white, if not majority black. And so that doesn't sit right. But that aside, whatever the fucking reasoning was, it looks like Keith Lee is really learning shit, and it looks like what Adam Pearce is, because I mean, a lot of people are saying that's probably Adam Pearce's work there. Mm-hmm. It looks like Adam Pearce and Drew Gulak, I assume, are doing a good job teaching him what I guess he needs to learn.
Yeah.
So this match made me fucking like thrilled for the new Keith Lee. Now just let him be happy again, because he doesn't seem very happy.
Yeah, it's because he thought the person that was like a great friend of his turns out to be like friends with a really shitty dude.
Fair.
Alright, so match of the night. I know what my pick is. I'll still go through them all for everyone's sake. So, we start off with the New Day versus the Miz and Morrison. This was a great match. I couldn't find anything really bad about this match. Miz, he was the Miz. He's not amazing, but he's not horrible. He's not the worst. And then Morrison didn't pop off as much as normal. Even Xavier didn't really pop off much as normal, but it's still a decent match. Then we had AJ Styles versus Elias in actually a fantastic match that ended in like a spectacular way of almost just kicking the shit out of that guitar. It was great.
I've never seen something splinter like that before due to a man's foot.
And then Elias proving once again that he's like a really good wrestler. This match, it had a lot. It had a lot of greatness to it. And then we had Charlotte Flair and Asuka versus Peyton, Royce, and Lacey Evans. You subtract all the weird Ric Flair stuff. This was a great match. I enjoyed Asuka's and Charlotte's performance. I enjoyed Peyton's performance. Lacey was okay. She was mostly flirting with Rick. But she did have a pretty sick spear onto Charlotte.
That was a good spear. For that.
But the Rick stuff made it weird.
Yes, it did.
And then we had Riddle versus Bobby Lashley. That was another great match. That was just great wrestling all around. The ending was a little silly, but it worked for them. Riddle gets a win. Bobby still looks like he's on top. And then we have, unfortunately, Dana Brooke versus Shayna Baszler. No. And then we had Randy Orton versus Jeff Hardy. It was a decent match. It's pretty good. I mean, that Gage bit was probably the most interesting part of it.
Fucking gruesome.
Yeah. It wasn't anything spectacular. Still don't know why they were fighting in the first place. Probably because Jeff Hardy was the closest thing to a legend that he could barrel through. Then we had Hurt Business versus Lucha House Party. This match was fucking bonkers. I loved it. Loved the match itself. Loved the story progression in the Hurt Business. How Cedric and Shelton are kind of like at each other's throats, and MVP is just fucking tired of it. And we're seeing Lucha House Party again in the spotlight, looking fantastic. Hopefully as contenders for some kind of title. I loved literally everything about this match. And then we had Drew McIntyre versus Keith Lee. Was a great match. It really, really was a fantastic match. But then they ruined the entire goddamn thing. Goldberg showing up. It's not just Goldberg showing up. That wasn't necessarily what ruined it. The fact that they lined up Goldberg to be the next challenger at Royal Rumble destroyed the feud between Drew and Keith, basically completely devaluing this match. Had no purpose. What would have happened if Keith won? Would Goldberg still give that same speech? Saying Keith was disrespecting all of the fucking legends? Who knows? It was a great match, but Goldberg just made it worth nothing. Alright, so my pick for match of the night. Uncontested, 100%. Lucha House Party versus Hurt Business. It had everything done perfectly.
Fine. I'm only giving it to you for two reasons.
Okay.
First one's Goldberg.
Yeah.
So I guess thanks, Goldberg, for you. Two is because of I do have a bit of a problem with Drew and Keith fights where Keith takes like 2 hits and suddenly he's kind of like slowing down. And Drew takes 40 hits and is just still kicking out.
Right.
I get it. Like I understand the concept behind that, which is Drew's powerful and can't be held down. Which fine, he's the champion, sure. But it happens a lot with Keith matches, and it kind of annoys me because it's like I don't expect Keith to be invincible, but I do think it should take like a little more to wear him down. When normally, like with Drew, he's got to do so much more to wear down smaller opponents. You know?
Yeah, I feel like it's no selling without no selling. You know?
Yeah. But that's not to say that I didn't like this match, because this match, honestly, if Goldberg had not been a part of this match, probably would have fought you on this a little harder. I would have. Just because there were a lot of moments where I was like, oh. But the Hurt Business Lucha House Party fight was something else. That is four. There are four men there. I cannot phrase that. Those four men are just so phenomenal. And like we got really good matches with New Day and Hurt Business, but like Hurt Business and Lucha House Party, that's a different game.
Yeah.
And that's a very fun game to watch. It's like, in baseball terms, I feel like Hurt Business and New Day are like Boston and New York Yankees for me, where I'm like, we're still having fun, because like, good game. Or, a couple of years ago, good game. But yeah, whatever. Not the hottest rivalry in the world. And like, Hurt Business and Lucha House Party are like my New York Yankees versus Tampa Bay Rays, where I'm just like, what's gonna happen next? Is Kiermaier gonna fucking punch the other guy?
Yeah.
That's the only guy I know on that team. I would have said Snell or Morton because those are the only other two that I know, but they're gone. But like, it's just like, there was something about that match where like, it's rare that I want to pay more attention to the match than my fucking notes. Like, sometimes I'll even at least try to like type while looking at the TV screen. But even tonight, like with this, I was like, I can't. My brain's off.
Yeah, and I do want to mention one thing about a completely different match. Bobby Lashley versus Riddle. One thing that I didn't say when I was going through the matches, but there was one thing that bothered me about that match. Something super small. But Bobby was 100% no-selling Riddle's gut punches. Riddle was punching Bobby square in the stomach, and he wasn't flinching in the slightest. Now, I know they're trying to push the narrative that Bobby's like still the almighty and like all-powerful, but he should be selling them in some kind of way. And then to add on to that, he'd been kicking out at one the entire match. And then all of a sudden, at the very end, he kicks out at three, or he doesn't kick out. He's pinned. Kicked out at one, the entire thing, and then gets pinned after no hits were made onto him at the end. It was hokey. The whole thing was hokey.
I get that. Especially because like it was a pin that Bob easily could have just like thrown his weight to the side and gotten out of.
Or literally just lift Riddle off of him.
Yeah. But it's that, that's one of those things.
Yeah. But it is what it is. To run it back, our promo of the night, Randy Orton threatens old men. Wrestler of the night, Keith Lee. Match of the night, Lucha House Party versus The Hurt Business. Liz?
Thank you for joining us. If you joined us tonight, thank you. And if you joined us in the future, thank you. Oh, January's good.
Yeah.
Anywho, now that my Grommies are over, my brain's just like, what do I talk about? Please join us on Wednesday for the best podcast of the fucking week, in my humble opinion, where I will finally wear this shirt that Mark lovingly got me. And hopefully I don't just look at my shoulder trying to get it out. Like it. It's very fun.
It is.
It's a color I really like. I'm finally going to wear this. I meant to wear this the Wednesday after Christmas, but I said I'd wear something red after I wore something green for Christmas, so I didn't do that. And then I meant to wear it the Wednesday afterwards, and as we all know, last week was a fucking nightmare. So, and to be fair, that nightmare continues, but at least I feel a little more put together again. So I'm going to definitely wear that this coming Wednesday. Please tune in. It's going to be fun. We always have a lot more fun. Well, we always have a lot of fun on our NXT podcast. We had a lot of fun tonight too. But they're also shorter. But yeah, please join us. And we look forward to seeing you.
And you'll especially want to tune in because it's New Year's Evil, which is the equivalent of a pay-per-view at this point. It's probably got some of the best booking that any NXT episode has ever had.
And the best host.
Oh, yeah. Dexter Loomis is hosting. Oh, boy.
Oh,
But thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed, hit that follow button, of course. Our Twitters are, well, the podcast Twitter is at Pinfall Podcast. I'm at the Mark Cameron. Liz is at Eliza Elaine23. Don't forget to check out the rest of the podcast on the YouTube. It's the Pinfall Podcast on YouTube. And check out my personal Twitch, twitch.tv/Mark Cameron. And check out the Universal Pokemon Federation on YouTube. Combination of Pokemon and WWE. Fun stuff. Alright. Thanks for watching, everybody. We will see you.
My deepest apologies.
We'll see you on Wednesday.